Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise. I'm Lamar Haven. Welcome back to Bastion.
Part of the rippling walls floated by, so I caught the kid's old knapsack.
And that's where we're headed first.
It's hard to sleep easy these days, what with everything that's happened. Zolf. Very soon the kid's gonna have to face that man again, for the last time.
Yes, he has. So it looks like we're being learning about Zulf now. What's going on? There you are! Yep, we're dealing with the Ura in this wonderful little flashback. So I wanted to make a correction. I was kind of an idiot in one of my earlier
They
episodes.
met on the worst day of Zolf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away.
I mentioned that when we found Zia again, that it's finally revealed that Rooks has been telling this story to Zia the entire time. I'm a complete idiot and forgot the very first thing Rooks said to Zia about Zia when we met her was that he was telling this story to her. So that wasn't a revelation. However, there is a revelation involving this little tale that hasn't come up yet. I think that's what I was excited to reveal and realize that it didn't come up yet, so I assumed I meant to reveal the other thing, which was already revealed! I'm being vague on purpose. I'm sorry, it's probably very confusing to all of you. Don't worry, we'll get around to those revelations in a bit. First we need to find out more about Zulf's past and what's led him to the actions he's taken. You're very tricky. I don't like that.
It wasn't the first time Zolf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him.
As you can already probably tell, Zulf has had a very rough life. Then again, all of the characters have in some way or another, haven't they? The only person we don't really know much about is Rooks himself.
He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tassel terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylonian missionary living there.
Fire your laser. That took care of it real nice. A couple of crits and you forget they were even there. Oh, didn't even notice you there. You blended into the background.
He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in.
16 reflections remain, and I'm already doing poorly. That didn't work out as planned. Gotcha.
That missionary raised Zolf like a gentleman, like it was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy.
Seems mercy is something that more people could be taught. Tiny ones! Like little chickens! Little tiny chicks! Kill them! Kill the babies! Burn the babies! Sorry, I was channeling Tiny Tina for that moment there. And if you don't get that reference, I'm not explaining it to you. Alright, die, all of you! Thankfully, being smaller means less health, too. It doesn't help if you can't aim! Come on. There,
When the missionary passed away, Zulf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Caelondia.
How does someone go from that to this?
Zulf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did.
I haven't needed to use any of my special abilities yet, so I've got these black tonics I have to keep avoiding. No! Not you! Not the artichoke! This might be the end of me, folks. Oh, nope, that might be the enemy. No, away! All of you! Stay away! Come on. Oh, I thought they had to open up for some reason. That's why I kept avoiding shooting them. No, I'm just an idiot. Nope, come on. Gotcha. Ooh, that was intense. Also used all my black tonics.
He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war. He believed the city had much to teach his people.
Atone for the war? Huh. That probably didn't go over as well as he'd hoped. But Rook did say that people were listening. Maybe they just didn't hear what he thought he was trying to communicate.
However, Zulf felt he could only do so much in the Tassel terminals. He needed Caelondia to know the Ura had changed.
They're so fast! All of them are. Go away!
He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land.
Try and go after the Ura first, because they're the ones that you can hit easily. Oh boy. Turrets first, then. As long as you keep moving, you should be okay. Come on. The music's getting more intense. This is a bad sign for me. Means they aren't done throwing things at me.
The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zulf saw the rippling walls on the horizon.
But would the non-city-bound Ura listen to him like the city-bound would? Nope, stop it! You just keep firing, don't you? Don't mind me, just gonna put a wall in front of your face so the ricochet hits you. That's all. Why are you still alive? You are sturdy. You must be a special Ura. That's not working nearly as well as I'd hoped.
He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular.
Oh, it wasn't the city-bound Ura he was talking to. My mistake. I misinterpreted what they were saying. He went to the city to talk to the city-bound Ura. The original Ura he was talking to were not in the city. I thought he was talking about the castle terminals. I'm confused and I apologize. This is very unruly. It's like a hailstorm from hell. Do you think they have hailstorms in hell? Why am I getting distracted? Stop it, Haven! Focus on the murder! None of these sound good. Look, I'm killing things and it makes me sad, alright?
This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zolf. She told him she knew all the city's best-kept secrets.
Nope, stop it. Oh, that's bad. You appear to be on the sky, sir. Stop poisoning me. It's very rude and I dislike it.
The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zolf clasped her hands and proposed in proper Ceylandian style.
Nope, mistimed that. Out of healing. Gotcha.
He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all.
I guess that's what happens when you celebrate a little too hard. I wouldn't know, though. I'm not much of a drinker myself. You see, I prefer to be lucid and remember what I celebrate. Oh dear, you are fast. We're going to have a problem, aren't we? Not a problem anymore.
He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Ceylandian War Memorial, built like an Ura den. But something was wrong.
Get these guys out before they can cause too many problems. Uh-oh, like that. Nope, that's not at all what I meant to target. Okay, I'm out of health. Healing, I'm out of health. Everything is awful, and more of these are spawning. This may be the limit of my abilities, folks. Oh, there's two of them! I hardly noticed. I was too busy panicking. Panicking is an important part of my strategy, you see. It keeps me mobile, keeps me moving, and keeps my heart rate up in dangerous levels.
It's all right.
It's not all right. It's awful. There's got to be a way to stop those things. I know by looking at them, they kind of stop eventually. But I'm too used to running. Aha! Nope, that's not working. Nope, everything's awful. There's no way for me to stand still with the bird things around. If I could just stand still, I'd be fine. Let them summon the max number of those little eyeballs. I have to get rid of these stupid chuckleheads first. I don't even know what you're doing! I can't. I just can't get close enough to them to combat their regeneration rate. I need some lucky crits or something. It occurs to me, I don't think I have a way to crit, though, at my current health. Aha! Stop. I found your weakness. Only took me forever and a day. Nope, stop moving! Stop moving! Ah, this isn't working. I need to get them far enough away. There we go. Oh.
He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down.
I'm sorry, what? What do you think you're doing to me, game? This is not okay. These are my least favorite enemies. No, why would you do this to me? Like, I know how their patterns work. Don't get me wrong, it's just they're too
The world
chaotic.
was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes.
Like I said, this may be the limit of my abilities. I don't think I can get much past this. Oh, come on! Okay, gotta find the right angle. It's all about the right angle. That's not the right angle! Okay. Sniping positions. Aha! This is how I'm gonna do it, isn't it? Yep. Thank goodness for the carbine. Just gotta get the right rhythm going. Think of it like you're playing a Hatsune Miku game. I've never played a Hatsune Miku game. I just know what they are like. Basically DDR with anime waifus. You should play it if you're interested. And again, I'm getting distracted by talking about other games instead of this one. There's a lull in the action as I methodically and carefully kill
He
everything.
found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home. But when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky.
Oh, this is bad. I just heard another Ura. Oh, it's another really fast one! Thank you, game! That was more of a sarcastic thank you, game. But then I realized I can hide behind this little...
That story don't end well anyway.
Gosh darn it. I will be back when I get to the final... final part. And I'm gonna cheat.
Stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes.
Alright, we're on the last two reflections again. So, I'm re-listening to the story. I think I'm just confused about where the tassel terminals are. I'm sorry. It probably detracts from the story a bit when my interpretation is just flat out wrong in certain factual locations. So, I apologize. But yes, the overall story is, in the tassel terminals, Zulf learned to preach the way of Solandia and its city, and then decided to move to the city to try and further preach, and fell in love with a girl there, and tried to marry her.
He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home. But when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky.
And just like all the other people we've seen who were dead, just turned into ashes and dust, but still maintained some semblance of their form, she disappeared too.
And so Zulf returned to where he proposed in the Hanging Gardens. And there he stood, as if the gods would answer him.
And that's the end. Alright. I had to cheat to make it work, but... And that is, by cheating, I mean removing all my idols. But yes, I managed to get it.
The kid's gonna be okay. As for that man, who knows?
Alright, let's go ahead back to the shrine and activate a few of those. Actually, let's go ahead and not invoke Missia. Missia is what's getting me in the most trouble all the time, so let's go ahead and ignore that.
Once the kid gets that last shard from Zolf, it'll all be over.
Oh, and we can go to the Proving Ground in the Mancer Observatory. The City Scientific Guild used this place to experiment with classified inventions. I'm not going to. I want to finish this. So we're going to go to the Tassel Terminals. Zolf detected. He bides his time within the remains of the Ura's massive underground sprawl.
The Tassel Terminals. All that's left of the Ura civilization. And the last stop on his little journey.
Once you enter this area, there's no turning back. Are you ready? Zia fled the Bastion when the Ura attacked to learn the truth of what happened to her people.
I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be all right.
Go away, you!
Just needs to get that shard from Zolf and come on home.
So there's gonna be less
The
narration
calamity
now.
hit the Tassel Terminals hardest of all.
Mostly because, like, Rooks just said he can't hear us. I mean, he's had a means, apparently. I don't know if it's been directly discussed or whatnot, but he had a way to watch us and hear us, even from a far
No
distance.
chance anything survived. You know why Zolf went back there. The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. Zolf must be there all alone, just waiting.
See, Rooks doesn't realize that all of these Uras did survive, that the Tassel Terminals is not destroyed. It is actually probably the most whole and safe place in all of the world right now. Rooks doesn't react when we fall. Rooks doesn't react when we hurt. Rooks doesn't react when he's wrong, because he doesn't know. He has to wait for us to return to tell him.
You know what's funny? All we can do is sit and talk. Well,
Then talk, Rooks, because I don't have the time to do so. They're quite upset with me, as you might notice. Oh wait, you can't. That was kind of the point. Hello.
all of us are waiting for a kid. Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right?
I love the weird pattern the lasers make.
But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this.
When you dodge, it's very interesting.
When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. This disease the Earth planet here will go away.
Gotta get rid of them fast. Ooh, that was hectic.
What happens to Zolf will no on the matter.
So every once in a while you might notice I kind of get bounced around. That's because the Ura are appearing from the sides. They're hopping on their odd devices, these things, that just chuck themselves at high speed towards the land masses. And the shake is what knocks me off my feet.
Zealandia will be whole again.
Oh dear!
Everything will be back to normal.
Gotta get away! Gotta get away! Ooh, that took everything I had. That was a bit much, don't you think, guys?
Problem is, we'll all be gone.
Zulf returned to the Tassel terminals with the shard to await the fall of Bastion.
Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop.
So we're coming to the heart of the matter. Bastion has more than one purpose.
Things will go back to the way they used to be. That's the power of the Bastion. This whole place is a living record of the times before the Calamity.
And we have finally learned how to hop! Woohoo! We can jump! Yep, at the very final level, they teach you how to jump. Something that you would think would have been incredibly useful since the beginning.
You be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way.
So yes, I'm ignoring what Brooks is saying because I want him to get the full idea out first. It's an extremely important concept. And it is one that is going to play a huge role in how this all plays out in general.
Come on,
Damn it.
keep your chin up.
I thought I had that. Alright. Break our way
All
through.
of life's little setbacks. Imagine if you could have another go at them.
Oh dear! I forgot this part. We're leaving.
No mistakes. Anyone you've ever hurt. Everything you've ever done. You could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand?
So, Rooks says that the Bastion is actually a way to go through time.
Well, I guess there's nothing more to say.
And that was his plan all along. He wasn't fixing Bastion so he'd have a nicer place to live. He was fixing it because it can go back and stop all this mess from happening in the first place. However, there's a snag. A snag he hasn't necessarily predicted just yet.
Who am I kidding?
Hoppity hoppity!
Look. There's something else. A confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point.
He's hinted at this before, so this isn't too much of a surprise, but it's certainly a surprise to Zia.
There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it.
If you really think about it, it seems actually pretty
So
logical.
you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing?
Whoopsie.
The answer is... I don't know.
And there's the heart of it. We don't know how the Bastion works. Zio's father, Ben, documented his work for Seonda's Masters in his hidebound journal.
You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's alright. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us.
You see, if you go back in time, there's no real way to test it beforehand.
Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around.
And because one of the main features is, if you go back in time, what if you have no memory of what happened before that? Or what if things are fate, and you have no way to control and change what happened?
The weight of the calamity. It's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go.
We now wield the battering ram, an extremely powerful weapon, extremely heavy, and replaces all other weapons. Capable of
Bastion
destroying
does have another
anything.
function, strictly speaking. If ever the monument blew out and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off away from here. Of course, that would mean no going back. Ever. But then again, that way all of us could leave the city. Together.
The Bastion's auxiliary function was designed to enable a mass evacuation of the Ceylondia's people.
You know Zolf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you?
Come to me.
Zolf and the Ura. All they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to a lasting peace between the Ura and Ceylondia.
That's the special, by the way. I've been neglecting to use it.
He can't
figured
have
it showed
imagined
off.
the city would try to wipe the Ura out.
Gotta get used to the slow movements of this weapon. It doesn't counter like the shield does. It actually does, never mind. I was about to
Zolf
say
ain't
something wrong.
lost every shred of decency, though, has he?
There's the
He
shard.
tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid.
Give me the shard, sir. Alright. Guess we're doing it the hard way.
For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. It ain't a simple matter of pride either.
There's the shard.
One thing's for sure. The Ura can't be happy that the kid followed Zolf all the way home.
And there's another very important point to make. The only reason we're here is because we followed Zolf. Because he warned us. And now it is time to choose. Do we move on, abandon Zolf's body, and press forward with the battering ram? Zolf's situation is hopeless and a distraction. His plan to avenge the Ura only brought more suffering. All that matters is safe return of the Shard. Or do we take Zulf, abandon the battering ram, and pick up Zulf's body instead? Zulf is badly injured, but breathing. It appears his countrymen turned on him as their situation grew desperate. He nearly destroyed the Bastion, and yet we can't abandon him. It absolutely makes sense why he would do what he did, and he did try to warn us. If it were just us, we could move on.
I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zulf in the other. Ain't much of a fight.
The things Rooks assumes.
Don't you worry, though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright.
He assumes that we're gonna go with what his plan is. That we're gonna
You
burn
ain't
bridges.
still thinking about that whole leaving the city thing, are you?
Just keep walking. If they won't let you pass with the body of someone they no longer care about, then what's the point?
I set my sail, fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home.
Let me pass.
Sweet home. I see your star. You left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. Eyes open wide.
Kid's probably dealt with Zulf by now.
Feel your heart and its glow.
The only way I really could.
It reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days?
With the fate of the Bastion out of his hands, Brooks passes the time by telling Zia stories. And here we are, back at the Bastion.
Hey, kid. Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up. That's more like it.
I want to make a point to point out.
Set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk.
Every time he tried to tell the kid to get up, I had to push a button to make sure he did. I had to move the joystick somehow. It's important for the fact that you guys can't experience that and I can't show you that.
The Bastion. It's finally finished.
Here it is in
Now,
all its glory.
There's something I want you to see.
And the Calamity of Tassel terminals were ripped out of the underground and cast towards the stars.
Welcome to the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions.
We have 3 votes.
Hey, kid.
Restoration. Ask about the Bastion's restorative power. What will it feel like when Bastion fixes
You
everything?
can undo the calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you.
Evacuation. Ask about the Bastion's evacuation mode. If you could go anywhere, would you go back? Or somewhere else?
Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore.
The Ura Sigil. Tell Rooks about what happened to Zulf. He never learned the whole truth, did he?
Zulf only brought more ruin to the Ura. No wonder they didn't take kindly to him.
Marshal's badge. Off of the Marshal's badge. At the end of their careers, the Marshals used to return their badges to the city.
You've got one thing left to do. So you hang on to that badge. Besides, you earned it.
And finally, the Pecker's Nest. Talk about what it took to get to this point. The windbags, the beasts of the wild, the Ura. They fought so hard to stop this moment.
Don't let anything you've done get to you. You could save all those creatures here and now.
But what if we don't? Then the burden of all their deaths lies only on me.
You made it.
And here we get to actually hear Zia's voice outside of song. Ask Zia about the Bastion's restorative power. Do you think it's going to work? What do you think I should do?
So, let's see. You can either prevent the calamity, or stick around with me and Rex. I'd hate to be in your shoes.
Evacuation. Ask Zia about the Bastion's evacuation mode. If you could go anywhere you wanted, where would you go?
If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world.
Sealed note. Tell Zia about what happened to Zulf. His own people turned on him when his plan to destroy the Bastion faltered.
Zulf tried to talk me into joining him. I tried to talk him out of it. I guess we both failed.
Or a sigil. Tell Zia about her people. They were very brave. There was nothing left for them but the revenge.
When I finally found my people, I told them we could help. They just took me for a traitor. Glad you showed up.
As reminds Zia. Tell Zia about her harp. Talk to Zia about her harp. Isn't there some moment of your life you wish you could go back to?
Any moment I'd want to live again happened after the calamity, not before.
So now we have to choose restoration or evacuation. Initiate the Bastion's restorative protocol. Caution. This process will restore the previous world state and is irreversible. It's only as directed. For evacuation. Initiate the Bastion's evacuation protocol. Caution. This process will cause irreparable damage to the core receptacles, disabling the restoration protocol. I'm going to put my controller down for a moment because I want to discuss both of these solutions in length. We have restoration. This is Rook's idea. He believes that we can go back in time and, using the knowledge that we possess now, somehow prevent the calamity from occurring and prevent everything from that has happened. It is very much about looking back and seeing the glory that the world had and trying to restore it to what it could be, and mourning the loss of everything we've seen and of all the horrible things we had to do to get here. Rooks has always looked to the past. Every time he tells a story, every time he tells a tale, it is about something that has happened. The one time when he can tell a story about something that is happening right now, he was cut off and unable to. So all he could still do is talk about what had happened. This is not what Zia wants to do. Zia wants to evacuate. Zia is a very interesting character, one I really love looking at, because even her theme, Zia's theme, is an Ura song that she doesn't actually understand the full meaning of. If you really listen to that song, it's a threat. It's telling Ceylonian people, build your wall, build your city on a hill. We will be there before too long. And it is not a happy tale, but she sings it, not knowing the full meaning. But even when she is with the Ura people and considered a traitor, the song is still there. So even when she finally understands the meaning, she still sings it out of a loss of her innocence and kindness. She was always the most compassionate and kind, if naive person. And while you can draw a direct line between what her actions were and what caused the calamity, it would be completely wrong to claim she was responsible. The world that existed was responsible for the calamity. The strife between the Ceylonian and Ura people that constantly caused all these fights, that constantly caused this war, is what led to the calamity. How can we be sure that 4 people, with their memories restored, would be able to do enough to stop the calamity from happening? But there's a third perspective we have to consider. A very interesting perspective that I don't think I've heard many people discuss. And that is, what happens if your memory doesn't return with restoration? What if you're fated for everything to return to the normal, the way everything is? And that's where the third perspective comes in. Us, the players. You see, we are not omniscient. but we do see things from a different perspective than everybody else, an outside perspective, one that isn't influenced or restricted by the experience within their universe. And that is why I would say, and I'm not sure if this is actually ever directly stated in the game, I don't think it is, that the Restoration Protocol is New Game Plus. It is a way to play the game with all your skills intact, and all the things you have learned intact, but all the characters in the story return back to the way they were, to the default state, to factory restore. And I think that is the proof that the Restoration Protocol does not actually work. That it does not fix anything. That is why every time I've played this game, I have chosen evacuation.
Oh, mother. And here I figured you'd had enough of me by now. You could have undone the calamity itself, but instead you want to stay in a world like this. I gotta admit, kid, I ain't yet put much thought in that idea of carrying on with you here. We can't go back no more, but I suppose we could go wherever we please. And if anyone's left out there, I sure would like to see the look in their faces when we dock this thing right on that doorstep. Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate. What do you say?
I set myself fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet.
And that's the end.
Lie on my back, cloud to make it wait for me.
And that's Bastion. I really hope you all enjoyed this playthrough with a few of my silly mistakes, my lack of skill gameplay. But thank you to everybody who made this game. It is fantastic. One of the great examples of games as art. An amazing narrator, a great concept, and music that is just beautiful. I'm speaking over this song, but you deserve to hear it in its full. Every song in the Bastion OST, I want you to go and listen to, and to really think about what each song means. It's this game, and the people who made it, is just fantastic. And they didn't stop here. There are more games that they've made, and one in particular that I very much look forward to playing. And it's actually next on my list to LP. I won't say the name out loud, but I'm sure many of you know it. But this is just one of those games that's really affected me. And I really wanted to share it with as many people as I could. And this is the only way I knew how. But my theory about New Game Plus, I don't know how many other people share that theory. I tend not to engage too many people in talking about theory outside of streams I do, and sometimes comments on YouTube. So I'd really like to hear what your theory is about how restoration works. And like I said, I've actually never seen the restoration ending. I don't know what actually happens. I don't know if it actually works. I've never seen it because I've never chosen it, because when I play this game, that's not the ending I see happening. I see them deciding to let the world go because of what happened. Maybe it was meant to be. As destructive, genocidal as it was, sometimes you can't save it, no matter how hard you try. So they move on, taking the Bastion wherever they can go. And there is hope. The Ura people How many Uras survived? Far more than we did. There's 4 of us. So if the Ura survived in such high numbers and we're able to gather, there has to be other people out there. You just have to believe that. So there is hope. And you just gotta believe sometimes that even in all this destruction, even if there was a chance to save it, the problem is, if you made the decision to restore and you were wrong about your memories, does that mean every single time you would make the same decision and would just create an infinite loop of time? What if the game would never end then? How would the last decision change if your experiences and everything you've done cannot change? Restoration, to me, risks that fate exists. That fate has to play out. And I've made this discussion before, but I think I should make it particularly now, because it's an important thing to keep in mind about my mindset and why I chose the things I do. Fate versus destiny. Destiny and fate are 2 different things to me. You can have a destiny. You can have a destiny that says, and this is my belief in the real world too, you can have a destiny that says you will do a great thing. It can be a great and wonderful thing, it can be a great and terrible thing, it can be any number of great things. You could be someone who takes care of children, you can be someone who takes care of orphans, and you still do a great thing. You can be a president of a nation and stop a war, and you still do a great thing. You can be someone that unites the world against you, and it's still technically a great thing, as terrible as it is, and how much better the world might have been off without you. It's still a great thing. Because I have to believe that your destiny is something you can choose. There might be something broad out there for you, but you can choose where it goes, and you are responsible for that choice. Fate is different. It is the day-to-day actions. It is the minute decisions. It is everything. If you stepped in a puddle, you were fated to step in that puddle. I can't believe in fate. I can only believe in destiny. And that is why I choose the things I do in this game. So, thank you very much.